Hi, welcome to Bullet Pointless, when you're looking for just a hit from the On Pointless podcast. When you're born, you can choose to have an alert pop up when you're exactly halfway through your life. Do you choose to have this alert?
No. Absolutely not. That would just be a panic. Oh God, I've gone through half my life. It's over. That's it. We have so much to do.
True. I mean, say you, like, it comes up and it says, 25 or 30, you're going to be in just shambles your entire life. Like, if it told me, 80 or anything above that, you'd just be like, yeah, okay, great. 80's a fine life, and it's I know I'm making it here, but if it came up and it's just, a young age, you're just going to be, full panic mode.
But if you're at, say, 25, because it's just going to pop up when you're halfway through. So when you're at 25, it comes up, it's I got 25 years left. Even though that's short, now at least you know what it is. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to retire at 30. I don't care. You could game that system where you're like, I know I'm going to die young. I'm not going to plan to live till I'm 80. I'm getting all this money out, so I'm broke at 50.
Right. When I said 25, I meant, you die at 25 or 30. So it pops up when you're 12 or 15.
Oh, you would start drinking and getting drunk. Your life would be over at 13.
Well, if it came out at 13, you'd just be like, dropping out of school. Education doesn't matter to me anymore. So at least you wouldn't waste that time.
That's true. I mean, it would make your life easier to live.
I disagree.
Yeah, it would make for very...
I'm a panicker.
I think for the first part of your life, until that pop-up happens, you're going to be worried the entire time. You're going to be waiting for that moment to happen where all of a sudden it's just bam, you're halfway through. But from that point on, you're going to be like, I know exactly how much time I have left. I'm living like I don't care anymore. You're doing whatever you want. You know exactly how much time you have left.
That is true. Yeah, your whole life would be very stressful until that day, because you know it was coming, and every day could be that day. And when it finally happened, it would probably be a relief where you're like, okay, I'm at the halfway point. There's no uncertainty anymore. I know when I'm going to die. Count down to that, and then you would just escalate and escalate until it was almost time to die. You'd be like, whatever. You'd have a 5-day before party.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's ever had blood work done, but waiting for the result of blood work is like that. You don't know. You're waiting for something to come back to you that could affect your life.
Exactly. So for this, you'd spend your whole life waiting. So maybe you wouldn't want to take it just because it would be an extra stress on your mind. But at the same time, I would like to know before I was going to die that I was going to die so I could plan for it. It would almost be kind of relieving where you'd be like, oh, I am going to make it to 80? Okay, perfect. I don't need to worry that I'm going to die young. I can plan accordingly. I don't know. There'd be half your life where you weren't worried, but there'd be half your life where you were very worried.
Yeah,
so.
It would just be... I mean, certain people would just take it way worse than others. If you found out that you hit, say you hit 35, so you're making it to 70, you'd just be like, okay, I only have to be able to make it through the next 35 years of my life. Yeah, I'll plan accordingly.
Yeah, I'm sitting at 36 right now, and if I knew I was making it to 72 at this moment...
You're not waiting until you're 65 to retire.
No, I'm figuring something out way before that, and setting up my family for that day, because I know I'm halfway there, right?
That's true. I mean, if you're able to plan out your children's lives, your loved ones' lives, right? You're set for it. You can plan your own funeral. That's probably not something anybody wants to do, but
I do. It involves clowns, but
mine's very.
I die before you.
Mine's very singular. It's just one firework. Put all my ashes in that and just set it off.
Sweet. I think it would be good to know. I guess if it became the norm, it would just be one of those things you got sat down as a child, around I don't know 8, if you hadn't already got your ticket. Hopefully,
yeah.
But if you already got it and your parents sat you down, all right, this is the norm, and you'll get this thing, and it happens to everybody. We haven't got it yet. We're still waiting. We'll let you know, and then everyone's kind of prepared, and then you're standing around the water cooler at work. Yeah, you got your ticket yet? Nah, I'm just still waiting. Yeah, me too.
But it's also the type of thing if you're young, you could die young. It's unfortunate that it does happen, but it does happen. Your parents kind of have to pick this for you. Your parents kind of have to choose whether or not you get your ticket. Because if all of a sudden they have a 1-year-old, that's on the parents. That's not on the kid as much.
That's weird because
right? You kind of have to choose as the parent if your child makes that choice.
Because I would 100% do it for myself. I couldn't do it for my kid. That's too hard to do for a kid. Like, when your kid is born, to be like, yeah, I'll take this alert. Because, like, say your kid's alert comes up before your alert comes up. Ugh. You know what'd be really weird, which is the opposite of what we're talking about? What if you're, like, 70 or 80 and your alert has not come up? You're like, I don't want to live to 160.
Yeah.
Good God, what's going to happen? Because...
It's like you're gonna be frozen somewhere.
I mean, at that point in time, though, you could still, if you're a very old person, you don't want to die or don't want to live anymore, you could off yourself.
But you can't. The alert's halfway through your life. It's exactly when, like...
So it has control over everything. Like, you have there's no, like, you could jump off a bridge.
I think
or
so.
like,
It's an alternate universe for sure.
for sure.
The alert knows exactly what you were going to do when you got that alert. So if you were going to get that alert at 85 years old, the alert already knows that you've already made those considerations, and it's like, nope, you're not going to do it. We know you're not going to do it. You'll be here until you're 170.
Yeah, that's when you, like, do the thing where you get the alert, and it's such a movie thing where you're like, that's it, I'm going to kill yourself, but you screw up, and then you end up in a hospital bed in a coma until you're, like, 160. Like, oh no, because that's just how these things would work in movies.
Well, that's true. But if you were in a coma, you wouldn't know you were in a coma, but you'd still be alive. So, I mean, it might be worth it because then you'd technically be, like, kind of brain dead.
There'd be some really tough situations, like if you had children, when do you tell them when you die?
That's true. If you knew when you were, like, 40, when your kid's, like, 10, you're not going to tell them when they're 10. But at what age is it like, look, this is what I'm living to, just so you know.
Yeah. Death is easier to deal with when you know it's
You would start to get so anxious, though, because if you're 80 and your kid, what did you just say, was 10, so please, 50? If your kid's 50 and you have grandkids, like, you'd get so anxious working up, like, if your life's going so well and you're like, I'm not ready to die, even though I'm going to die in 3 days. Everyone would be at your house. It would kind of be like a really anxious, awkward situation where everyone's just like, okay, well, 2 more days, like 48 hours, and, like, the countdown would be on, and that would be terrible. And, like, do you choke on dinner, and is it, like, traumatic, or do you just, like, pass away in your sleep? There's so many variables which would make it...
You're kind of waiting to see how you go.
Yeah.
In a way.
But yeah, death is easier when you know it's coming. I think for everybody involved. So I think if you know, and so are we saying it's so if it happens July 13th when you're 40, you pass away July 13th when you're 80?
Yeah, let's say it's an exact day.
Okay. Yeah. So then you get a chance to say goodbye to everyone. So I think knowing and being able to prepare for it, and because nothing's worse than an unforeseen death, like, or just like
it compounds the grieving with shock.
Yes.
Right? So it gives you, instead of just giving you the one emotion that you have to deal with, it gives you a second one. So you're not only dealing with the fact that somebody you love has passed away, you're dealing with the fact that they did it suddenly. Right? Which is always worse to deal with. I'm going to say right now, I'm taking it, and I'm giving it to whoever is around me that I have the option to. Like, I chose to do gender reveal before finding out that I was having a son. So I don't like surprises. And this is another surprise that I now have control over.
I think I would also take it. And I think, kind of counter to Kirsten's point, I think with this, death wouldn't be sad the same way it is now. So I don't think you'd be dreading it as much as you would do a celebration for that person's life while they were alive, because you wouldn't want their last days to be sad. I think it would kind of redefine how we feel about death. Me personally, I'm a person who doesn't view death as a negative ever. I don't get sad when people die. It's just a thing to me. But I think more so that would spread, because you'd be like, guys got 3 days left. Like, let's have a 3-day party. Let's go on a high note and celebrate their life while they're alive, where you can tell them how much you appreciate them, as opposed to, like, they die suddenly and you're like, I never told them.
You could do celebrations of life with the person.
We do live in Canada. A couple of years ago, assisted suicide became legal, where if you're terminal and you're older, and, like, if you've got terminal cancer or something like that, you can choose to have that. And that's kind of the same thing. Like, in a week, that's my day, right? So you're having your celebration of life with people you love. The only difference is you now know 20, 30, 40, 50 years in advance. that day is coming and you get to choose.
Yeah, there would be the terrible situations where you find out that someone you know is dying when they're 30 years old. But you know, so you can live your life accordingly. You can celebrate, you can spend the time with them accordingly.
And that person was going to die that age anyways. It didn't change when they were going to die. You just knew ahead of time.
How awkward. Like, would you tell somebody, though? Like, how do you tell somebody that? Would it almost be better to just, like, keep that information to yourself, but still have your, like, go and have, like, a coffee with this person and, like, tell them how much you love them and blah, 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 and not tell them that you're going to pass away, and then you at least get to see everybody and they have a really good visit and they're not having that in the back of their mind their whole time.
That this is it.
That this is it. This is the last time. You would just be like, that was such a really nice moment with that person, and I'm so glad that I got that chance with them. They'd think, like, you know what? Like, I didn't see them sick. I didn't see them, you know, no one was crying or upset. It was just like a really happy moment. And then you just kind of don't tell anyone and just pass away and then be like, oh, they passed away. Like, when my grandma passed away, I spent quite a bit of time with her before she died, and it was nice. And then you didn't know it was going to happen, so you at least look back on that and cherish those moments without knowing. It's sad, but at least you have those good memories.
I think we're in a kind of an alternate universe where this happens, though, so we're thinking about this the way that our universe is right now, where death can be sudden and it's not really chosen. Whereas now we're in an alternate universe where the idea of how we all deal with death is completely different. Like, some of us know, some of us don't know, but the people that know exactly what's going to happen. So I think you would tell people.
Well, I think it would be a personal piece of information where you would tell some people, but you wouldn't tell others. Like, it's just another personal piece of information to share about yourself with people that you're close to. And some people would decide not to share it. Or, like, it's like for me, if I ever leave a job and I give my 2 weeks notice, I'd never show up for my last day of work. I'll work for 9 of the 10 days. I do not show up on my last day because they probably have a going away party planned. I don't want to be there for that. I just want to be gone. So I would probably tell people the day I was going to die, and I would tell them 2 days after it actually was. Because that's how I do things. But you would have that option.
True. I don't think I would tell anybody, but I would set up, like, really like lunches or something casual where you would do those things anyways.
Where you could have one last good experience with the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would hide it. I think it'd be the same, like, it's a piece of information that you know about yourself, so I think it would be the same type of thing if you were dating somebody for the first time and you're learning about each other. I think that's the type of thing that I would bring up. Like, I know...
How long are you making it for? No, this isn't going to work out.
Yeah, but it, like, to a point. Right? Like, depending on the situation you're in, like, you're not going to bring it up to some people, but maybe, you know, there's somebody you see yourself having a future with. You're probably going to bring it up to that person.
For sure. I think you would tell your spouse so they're prepared potentially, maybe. I just don't know when you would bring that up.
Like, I think if it happened, if everyone did it, and I think if a lot of people did it, it would just become so commonplace that it would just be like part of your regular conversation with people.
To bring this back for a second, there was a Justin Timberlake movie, I can't remember the name of it, but everybody wore a watch, and everybody had a certain amount of time that they had
In
left.
Time. Super good movie.
Thank you. I know the person who brought up Justin Timberlake would know the name of this movie. So, yeah, it's the same kind of idea. Everybody was living like they knew exactly how much time they had left. So it was like full tilt your entire life.
But they could buy more time.
They could, but, I mean...
They were time thieves.
At the same time, you are given the gift of time by doing this because you know exactly how much time. You know when your hourglass, you know when the last sands fall.
But if you're 20 and you're just, like, you've been in university and you haven't been working or something, your parents are paying for your college education, and then you get your ticket and, like, you have no job experience, you can't save up to do the things you want to do in life, it'd be pretty disappointing. Be like, I don't have any money, I can't go and do this stuff. Like, what, you just retire and, like...
But what would be worse? You're 20, you don't get your ticket, but you're only living to 40. Right?
Well, not...
Right? So now you've worked, you're just working. So you're 20, you go to university, you get your education, now you're just working. So you've spent your entire life at school, getting an education, now working. If I know that I'm passing when I'm 40, I'm not doing those things because it's not going to pay off in the end. I want to be able to live my life to the fullest, and I think no matter what age you know you're going to pass away at, it'd be easier to plan and live your life to its fullest. Living your best life.
Okay. This segment's gone pretty long, so final thoughts. Chris, are you taking it?
Taking it.
Tron, are you taking it?
Taking it for me and anybody else who I have the option to give it to.
I'm personally taking it. Kirsten?
I'll take it, but I'm not telling anybody.
Okay. And to end this on a positive note, because we got really negative with death and everything in there, this would make life great for a gold digger.
It would.
Bro.
She'd take my money.